All right, good morning. This is our um, creating Autoshapes tutorial. I'm going to begin by opening up a brand new Microsoft Word document, Word 2013. And let's just take a second right here at the beginning once we open our blank document to go ahead and File, Save As, and let's just give this document a name. Save it in your folder or a place that'll be easy to locate. For me, I'm going to name it Ruben, period C, period creating Autoshapes. So again, Ruben, period C, period creating Autoshapes. As long as you give it a title that you're familiar with, that's totally fine. Go ahead and hit save. And you'll have a blank document in front of you. This lesson focuses on drawing tools. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw. We're going to go to our Insert tab, and we're going to go to Shapes, and you'll see that there's a lot of different shapes that you can choose from. We're going to use the simple rectangle. So if you click the rectangle button, you'll see that now the pointer changes to this plus sign. On your blank document, drag down and to the right, create a rectangle that's about 5 inches wide and ½ inch tall. If it's not exactly 5 inches wide and ½ an inch tall, it's no big deal, because you can easily go here in the Drawing Tools Format tab and change the width to 5 inches and change the height to ½ an inch. With the rectangle still selected, over here on the left-hand side of our screen, we have an area where we can insert additional shapes. I want you to try and scroll down and find the sun in the basic shape section. So if I just click on this down arrow and I scroll down, I'll eventually come to the sun. After you click on the sun, you can go ahead and you can also insert that. Above the first rectangle that we inserted, click, hold down, maybe hold shift so that your sun is perfectly symmetrical. And when it's about ½ an inch or so, let go. Now this again, we can adjust. And I'm going to actually adjust mine to be 1/4 of an inch tall and 1/4 of an inch wide. And I want to actually change the color of this sun because, well, a blue sun just isn't that attractive. But I can go up here to the top and I can change my shape fill color to a nice like yellow or golden color. I'll leave that decision up to you. And we still have some of that blue on there because the shape outline is still blue. So I'm gonna change that either the same color I just selected, or if you like the idea of having a slightly darker accent color for the outline, you could choose to do that too. I'm gonna choose that because I think it looks kind of nice. I'm also gonna click on the rectangle that I created, the blue rectangle. And for this one, let's just go ahead and let's change the color of our rectangle. Go to the shape fill section, go to more fill colors, and let's change it to kind of an aqua color. Imagine like a nice clear pool or ocean. And again, you can see the same thing. I've got this outline on it that I'm not that happy with, so I'm going to go to the shape outline, and it shows recent colors. And you can just select that same color you just selected for the as the fill color. Now we're going to take a second now and we're going to draw 3 more rectangles that are going to be the same size. You have 2 ways that you can do this. Option 1 is go to back to the Insert tab, go to Shapes, grab the rectangle tool, and draw another rectangle. Make sure that the height is ½ an inch, so you can see I got lucky. I got it perfect. And make sure your width is 5 inches. Another option is that you could right click, copy this rectangle, and then you could just paste it, hold down Control V onto your document, and that saves you a little bit of time because now you have all four of the rectangles that we need, and they're all exactly the right size, half an inch tall and 5 inches wide. Go ahead and take a second. If you double click on the second rectangle that you drew, it'll give you an opportunity to change the fill and the outline color. So go ahead and choose a fill color and an outline color. I typically like having my fill and outline colors the same, but you're welcome to choose any colors that you would like. You also have options here that you can explore too in the Shape Styles button. And you can always go to more fill colors and find the perfect color for yourself. Make sure that you're deselected from all of the rectangles that you just created. And remember, you can always go back and you can make some changes to these rectangles later. You can change the color, you can change the effects that we're going to add to them. Don't feel like anything's set in stone if you move on. Go back to the first rectangle, right click, and scroll down to where it says Add Text. Let's set our font to Arial, and let's change our font size to 20. Go ahead and type in children's apostrophe S space dash space and then 17%. What we're actually doing is we're trying to make each of these rectangles look like a book. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to show what percentage of books were sold in the last year of each kind of genre, right? So again, like genre sales for books in the previous year. Let's go ahead and add text to each of the other books now as well. I'm going to follow the same process. Add text, change my font so that it's exactly the same, Arial 20. And the second book will be adult nonfiction. Oops. This one was 16%. Again, to add text, I right click, add text, change my font to Arial, size 20. This one's going to be adult fiction, the most popular type of book sold at 40%. And one more time, academic slash professional at 13%. Now in that last one, you can see a couple of things. Number one, I didn't change my text. Don't worry, you can always go back and change the font size and the font type. The other problem though is when we create a document, we want to make sure that it's easy to read. And in this case, that yellow is very difficult to see the text on. So I'm going to change that. Oops, sorry. I'm going to change the outline color and the fill color of that shape to something that I think will look better. And because I want it to be a little different than my other ones, I think I'll change it to purple. And there we go. Let's have a little bit of fun with these rectangles. They're just two-dimensional shapes on the paper, but what if we wanted to make them um, three-dimensional kind of looking like books? I can do that pretty easily. I can click on that first rectangle. I can go to text effects. And I can click on a 3D rotation. If I go down to 3D rotation options, it'll open up this toolbar on the right side where I'm able to format my shape. Look at all of these different options I have. I can add a shadow, I can add a reflection, a glow. I can give my my rectangle some soft edges. The first thing I want to do is I want to change the 3D format. Right now it's got no bevel. You have 12 different options here, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose whichever one you like. And you might decide, hey, this one looks good, but it doesn't wind up being your favorite one after all. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making a mistake. So make sure that when you go on each of the rectangles, that you're selected on the tab at the top called Shape Options, not Text Options. So Shape Options. And then when you go down to your top bevel, again, you can choose which one you like, and then you'll be able to see that bevel happen. If you were actually changing your text options to be 3D, you might want to hit Control Z or use this undo button at the top so that does not affect your final product. Okay, so again, choose a bevel that you like for your very first one. You can play around. There's a few different options. And then once you have one that you like, you can also choose a bottom bevel that you like. You can also play around with the width and the height of each one. So you want to make sure that when you do the very first one, that you have a good idea of, hey, do I really like how this looks? And once you're happy with it, you can apply those same settings to your other rectangles. So again, I'm going to go down to my second rectangle now. I'm going to go to Shape Options. I'm going to double click on this so that I make sure I actually I'll bring up the 3D rotation option for that option. I'll scroll down, make sure I'm in the shape options, scroll down, and choose the same bevel for that. I'll do the same thing here. Again, I just selected this rectangle. And you're making each of your rectangles 3D. And you can see that there's a number of different options that you can use or that you can play around with when it comes to changing the material, the lighting, and so on and so forth. So if you want, or what I would encourage you to do, is to get your settings done, get your whole document in order, and then be able to come back here, right? Very easily, you double click on the on the 3D image, you go to text effects, and then you can go to 3D rotation options. And under shape options, you can play around with a whole lot of different things that might make your image look even better. For the sake of time of the video, I'm going to move on. So wherever you are right now, just kind of take a break from playing around with those rectangles. And let's add some word art to our document. Hold down Control and push the Home button on your keyboard. It's going to take you up to the very top of your document. Go ahead and hit Enter 2 times. Oops. Again, go back up to the very top and go to your Insert tab, and we're going to insert word art. Now, you might remember the days of all sorts of different word art options and so on and so forth. It's a little bit simpler now. So just go ahead and choose one of these word art options that you like the look of. And again, it's easy to change. And go ahead once you've chosen one and type in genre sales. If you look now, with this selected, word art selected, I can double click on it and I can go to text effects. And I can do all sorts of different things. I can change the look of it with a shadow. So I might like the look of that. I could go down to transform and I could have it follow a path. And I can easily move that to the center of my document by sliding it into the middle. And you can see when that green line, that green vertical line pops up, I know that my title is centered on the page. I can also change my text fill color to any fill color I want. I can go to gradients and I can change it so it's going to have like some sort of gradient fill. I can also change the text outline color from that orange to like a turquoise or a green. Or I could have no outline color at all. And again, I can play around with these text effects and come up with all sorts of things that I think would look really neat when it comes to like my final product. So one thing that's nice is you're able to see that Microsoft Word has some artistic effects that you can add to your document. It can be helpful in, I don't know, fancying up a piece of work that you're doing for a class. Let's go ahead and take our the title that we just created. I want the width of this to be 6 inches. It's gonna be nice and big. All right. Before we're done, we've got to. I want to add 3 more boxes, and I want to organize these so that they look nice. Okay. At minimum, like well presented on the screen. So to add another box, I can again just go to Insert, Shape, choose a rectangle, add that rectangle. I'm going to make it 1/2 inch tall, 5 inches wide, And I know I'm going to be adding 3 of them, so I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste it 2 times. For each of these, I'm going to just go ahead and use my drawing tools to change the shape to a 3D format just like my other ones. Again, I added a top bevel and a bottom bevel, the exact same ones as before. I'll do that for each one. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to add text to each of these rectangles. The first one's going to be religion at 6%. Oops. And again, I'm going to change the text size to 20 and the font type to Arial. For my next box, again, we can change it to Arial, size 20. This is going to be scientific and technical books. Oops. At 3%. And one last one, I'm going to add the text. I'm going to write various, 5%. And again, very easy, I can just go back up, change the text, the font size to 20 and the text type to Arial. And probably for me, the hardest decision is determining what fill color I want to use that I feel like will look good with everything. So I'm going to do my shape fill. And I'll do one that's kind of pink. And I just want to do my outline to match it. And pick another color. And one last one. Shape outline. Now I'm going to take a second to stack them. I might actually center this one here in the middle. I don't really want it to be I don't want to see any of that white in there, but I also don't want it to overlap at all. So I want to be really careful when I line these up. And there we go. that gives you an idea of what your final product can look like. All right, so with that said, you want to make sure that you save your document. And then remember that when we turn it into Google Classroom, it's really helpful if you can also save another copy of it to the same folder. This will be the one that you turn in, and instead of it being a Word document, you're going to convert it to a PDF to make sure that it comes out the exact same way that you're seeing it on your screen. That'll create a preview. And here's what your final product should look like, with one exception. I made one mistake, and that is that this little sun in the back, I'll move this for a second. This little sun in the back, I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say bring to front, and I'm going to assign it to the book sale that has the highest sales, which is adult fiction. So I'm going to just set it right there. I'm going to move my title back to the center of my document. And now, again, I'm just going to save it. And then one more time, I'm going to save as a PDF. When I hit save, it says you already have a file name because I just saved it incorrectly. So I'm going to resave it. So I'm going to say yes. And here's what our final document should look like. Make sure you look it over, that it looks good. Your books are touching, but not overlapping. No white space in between. And then you can turn it in. Thanks.